Is this working now? Let me see. Hopefully this is working. Let's see how it goes. I don't know if my microphone is too high now, but it seems that here in OBS it is in the red zone. So let me adjust this a little bit. Oh, it's only 38%, but it seems that it is quite sensitive. Lowering it a bit won't go in the red zone, so I will take this as a positive. Okay, let's close this. So, hello everyone, I am Protasilaos, also known as Prot. I have a new laptop. This laptop here is, let's do the whole NeoFetch thing. This laptop here is a Lenovo T470. Probably I wrote this wrong in the announcement that I did. I probably wrote X470, but I will correct it later. It's a T470, and I got this as a gift. This is, of course, second-hand. I got this as a gift from a person called Anush V, to whom I am most thankful. I will be using this laptop to experiment with GNU Guix. I have installed the Guix system, and I have set it up so that it works with Wi-Fi. And otherwise I haven't done anything. I still know nothing about Guix besides the encyclopedic knowledge I have got from here and there, but I don't know anything about the technicalities. So today what I want to do is just basically tinker with the system, try to understand how things work, get a first feel for it, and share with you my impressions. Of course, these are just the first impressions. I do eventually want to develop expertise in Guix. I think it is a very powerful system. The idea behind it is compelling. I have been following the project for many years now, since my early days of switching to Linux. I switched to Linux in 2016, the summer of 2016, and I believe in early 2017, or maybe it was 2018, I was already reading about Guix and showing a great interest in it. What I want to start with, here I have Emacs, which I just tweaked to have these. I also want to disable the toolbar and the menu bar mode, just like this. Let's also get rid of that scroll bar. Okay, get a cleaner look. This is good. I just had to disable these because I typed Control Z a few times already and it was annoying, and I needed a theme that will be legible on this screen, otherwise it would be a huge problem for me. Okay, let's start with my first confusion slash problem. I log into XFCE just before doing the announcement for this stream, and I try to click here to set the audio, and here I get now the Pavu control program. But when I clicked there, it told me that Pavu control is not available, so please install it, etc. I then have my default behavior as a Linux user is to install this package as root. Install it as root with the intent of making it available to all users, basically. I install this as root, then Pavu control, and then I go here and I click again. And it still tells me that my program is not available, which means that I try to install it as a local Guix user. Just let me keep this open. I have the other computer open, so in case you send a message I can see it there, because here I haven't been able to log into YouTube. Anyhow, so I have to then install Pavu control with my user profile, and then things work as expected. Probably there is a way to set the Guix profile so that it reads both from root and from my user profile. This is something that I need to experiment with, but I have not done it yet, so I think I will start with this. Guix remove, I think, is the command. It's either remove or uninstall. Pavu control. Let's start with this. Okay, so it will remove it now. Let's give it a second. And let's once it removes there, let's click on it. Audio mixer. So failed to execute program. That is correct. Let me then go to my bash RC. Bash RC here. Yes. And do I have Guix here? I have Guix. And what I want to do is, would it work if I were to do the same as path? Nobody knows, right? But let's try this. Let's try Guix profile, and then what was the other one? Root and Guix profile. Huh. Okay, let's see. Root. I don't know if this makes sense. To me it makes sense, but we will find out. Let's do this, and because I don't have my key bindings now, let's do source of bash rc. No such file or directory. The root. Oh, why did it interpret this path? That's strange. Let me read again what I got here. Okay. So what's the idea with the... Okay, let's see first if we have that system path. Let me do it... let me create a new one here and be su like this. Let's see what we have. CD, and it would be root. And what do we have here? Nothing whatsoever. LSA. Okay, so there are quite a few things actually. But where is the etc path? Because it says here that you would have to go to Guix profile, which is root.guix profile, and then inside of that, okay, it's a directory. So Guix profile, and then we have LSLA, and then we have it there. So probably my user cannot read from here, so that's why it doesn't work. What about if I add this, which is, since it is a symbolic link? Let's try this, folks. Let's see what happens. And let's hope for the best. No such file. Okay, so I do not have read permissions here, which is understandable. My question is, how would I have packages that are shared so that I don't have to duplicate the installation of every package, basically? This is not a good start. Let me think about it for a bit. Of course, I could change the permissions to make them available to everyone, or I could symlink this one to my home or something like that, but that doesn't sound like a good approach. What do we have? Let's go to var Guix profiles and understand what's inside of that. Profiles per user. First of all, let's see what we have here. Per user. Okay, let's see, folks. Oh, and it lists the users here. And what is this? Root is everybody can read here. So what's the problem? Okay, what do we have? Everybody can read those things. Am I missing something? Guix profile. this one, which is a symbolic link again to somewhere else, but still everybody could read this, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. Let's do this. Let's take this. Where is it? From here. Let's take this. You know what? Let's do it inside of Emacs because everything else feels awkward. Cut. Okay, is a directory. Okay. This is the first thing I need to understand. So I am giving it a directory and not a file. But let me see. Profile, which would be a directory. And the error I get, it is no such file or directory. So I cannot, probably the problem is that I cannot do what I am thinking is possible here. I cannot try this. Let me see again though. Here, LSLA. Someone is asking in the chat if I am doing this in a virtual machine. No, this is on actual hardware. This is a laptop I got as a gift, and I got it from Anush V, to whom I am thankful. I think I wrote this in the description, but if I didn't, I will make sure to include it. I also think in the description I wrote X240, X470, but it is T470, the laptop. So I will make sure to rectify that error later. But for now, I want to figure out what is going on here and try to have a Guix profile that allows me to not have duplication. Because of course I know how to understand packages for every user. That's not the point. The point is to economize on disk space and to avoid what feels redundant exercises. What feels like redundant exercises. But we will see. We will see how best to approach this. Let me see if I can replace my home profile with this right away. Would that be a good idea? Let's see. So let's have it like this. Oh, my key bindings. Let's have it like this. And then let's... okay. Let's do Guix profile. This is not my Emacs. This is the generic Emacs, and it's already a bit tricky. Let's try this. And what would you do now? Source bash rc. So why is it insisting on this? Of course I would need to change this, but that's beside the point. I'm pretty sure I changed it. Let's kill this. Shell. Oh, now it works. Echo Guix profile. What? Okay, let's try it this way. I was hoping to just write it to the file, but... And here... Oh, it has no effect whatsoever? What's the idea? Okay. I was expecting this to work, but for some reason it has no effect. So where is the variable coming from? You see, because I have a typo, of course. Of course, you have a typo, and then how is it supposed to work? It is not magic. It cannot read my mind, so obviously it's my fault. Let's oh my goodness. Let's have it like this, and kill this, and let's try again. echo Guix profile. Okay, thank you. Let me see, what does this do now? Okay, it won't work. Let me now export the Guix profile. Oh, let's do how I did it before. Guix profile. I'm not sure if this is reading from that, so yeah, it won't work. Okay. Even if I set it here, it won't work. Probably if I were to do it in the dot profile, maybe it would work. But still, this does not answer my question. Still, this is not what I am looking for, because of course you can do it like this, but then you only have one, whereas I wanted to have a mixture of them, just like we have with the path. I would like to be able to have multiple paths like here and be able to work with that. For example, the path, exactly what I am seeing here, includes the Guix profile. And it also includes the local Guix profile, which is what adds to my confusion. Why do I need to have different things here? This is this does not make sense to me right now. Of course, probably there is a good explanation for this. There is an answer to it somewhere in the manual, but I will have to read that thing. Which leads me to the other issue I have, is that in order to actually read the manual in Guix, I want first to set up my environment, my Emacs environment, not necessarily reproduce what I have, but at least have something comfortable to start reading the documentation and gradually to start understanding the system inside out. The difficulty here is with the system services, with the Shepherd daemon, or I don't know what's called, the program anyway, the Shepherd init system, because what I want to do is I want to start the GNU, the GNU GPG agent, and I cannot do that, and this means that I don't have access to my passwords. I cannot use SSH, I cannot use Git to do stuff, and it's basically very difficult for me to work right now. I can start the GNOME keyring manually, but I want to do it through the init system, the way I do it on Arch Linux, where on Arch Linux you would do, because it is running systemd, you will do like system control, list units, and you will get all the units that the init system can actually run. Whereas on Guix here I have like shared status. I don't know if I can run it without root access. Sudo like this. I will switch to a root terminal, but let me do it. Let me go in as root. And shared status, and this, sorry, let's do it with less because it's easier. Shared status, this lists all the systems that have started, I can see here, which is very helpful. I read that you can have a detailed view of this status, which is nice as well. We have these, but it doesn't list other services. So, okay, I started these, but imagine that I hadn't started the, I don't know which one. Imagine that I hadn't started the term TTY6. How am I supposed to find if it exists or not? How am I supposed to know the units or services, or however they called, that are present on my system? If I do man shared, I get documentation that is as thin as your average wallet these days. And if I do, I can do it from here as well, info Shepherd, because I tried this. Maybe I can enlarge this. Oh, what happened? You cannot tile in XFCE. Okay, you know what? Let's do it from inside of Emacs. Control HI, let's maximize. And let's go to Shepherd. And yeah, if I read the documentation here, I couldn't spot a command that will list all the units, not the units that I know already that have started, but every unit that is available on my system. What this shows here, this manual, of course this is useful information to know. I'm not saying that this is useless, but I would like to have a list of all the commands, because this is the detailed status, what I mentioned. This is very handy. Maybe we can also have this full screen. Detailed status, but this is again the same as I did earlier, because you say you see the processes that have started, but you don't see those that are generally available. I don't know what's the name for them. Services, not processes. The services that are available on the system. So specifically, I am looking for the GPG agent. If I do anything with agent, there is nothing whatsoever. GPG, no. GNU, even GNU, what? Okay, so there isn't much going on there. They are telling me about a graph, which sounds nice, but also is completely useless right now. At this stage, what you are interested in is to actually, get things to work, and then this should be in a section like fancy stuff, and otherwise, that's the extra. It's not like the essentials that I should be reading on the first page. Herd, stop networking, enable foo, start foo. These are all good. These are all fine. These make perfect sense. Let me make sure my other computer is. My screen is open. Let's see. Additional services. Okay, you have the option to describe a service. You can get the list of the service specific actions with list actions. This is great. What about an equivalent of list services or something along those lines? Let's see. So Shepherd is the daemon process, okay. And Herd is the program that controls it. This is fine. Invoking Shepherd, invoking Herd, etc. Let's see, services. Defining services. Of course, that is something I will want to learn eventually. Interacting with services. Okay, defining services. This is what we will do with the scheme, and this is one of the most interesting things about Guix, is that you are configuring everything with Lisp, and for me that is a compelling proposition. Lisps are wonderful, but to get to the point where I am writing my own services, I first need to figure out what services exist, run the services I need, get going with my Emacs setup, and then once I am nice and comfortable in my system, I can start writing my own scheme code. Until then, there will be no scheming. Apparently, they are really pushing for this graph thing. I guess they have it on every page. They could even have it in the header line here, just to be sure that we didn't miss it. Let's see what we have. Service provision, service. Of course, these actions are very useful. I'm not saying. But before we get to the actions of a service, we need to get to the services. Okay, this is the lookup service, not exactly what I am interested in. Registry. That maps service names to service records. Okay, this is promising. Let's see. Likewise, when every service must appear in the registry before it can be used. Typical configuration file thus includes a call to the register services. Let you interact with the register services. This is probably it. Oh, what did I do? This is probably it. No, this is register. Here is for you to register the services, but okay, once I have registered them, how do I find them? It is telling me here that there is the file that they could be stored at, they could be stored in. Let's see what we can do. Interacting with services. Start, stop, start in the background. Service status, service replacement. These are more advanced. These are not pertinent to what I am doing now. Let's see. And these would be anyway when you are writing a scheme, because it defines a procedure here and you would have to go from there. Which is of course something I am very interested in doing, no doubt about that. But let's see. Oh, they don't have the graph thing here. That's strange. Let's see, the root service. Used to control the shepherd itself. Legacy interface, service examples, managing user services. For an unprivileged user. This is very helpful because if I am to have my MB-Sync running here on a timer, I will need to run it at the user level, and probably my GNU service as well, the GPG service, would also be run unprivileged, which is nice to know. But this still is secondary to learning what the service is called. Unless I have to just go about doing this and basically define everything myself, which of course I can give it a try, but it's not my idea on how I would like to start setting up a distro. Let's see, there are some people in the chat. So let me see what is happening. I cannot get the chat on the laptop, folks. I'm sorry, because I have to log into YouTube. And I cannot log into YouTube because I don't have my password here, and it's a bit of a mess. So sorry about that. Maybe the next stream will be better. I don't know when, but let's see what we have. Never heard of Shepherd before. Interesting. Shepherd is the init system for Guix. It is basically the equivalent of systemd, and from what I understand, systemd without all the extras, of course, not all the other things that systemd does, but just the process daemon, just that. Guess it's explicitly designed for Guix. I don't know if it's explicitly designed for Guix, but I would expect it to be the same idea, yes. Because it's also configured in the same way. There is David Wilson in the chat, aka System Crafters, the System Crafters channel, which is of course huge on Emacs, Linux, Guix, you know, all that stuff. So definitely check David's work there. Very high quality work. So David says, glad you're finally getting around to Guix. You'll have a lot of fun. Thank you. You won't need to do a lot of this stuff. Services are configured in a different way in Guix. Guix manages manages Shepherd services for you in large part. Okay, so I am approaching it the wrong way because I am still thinking that I should be the one configuring the services and I should be the one starting them. But what David suggests here is that probably it's the other way around. Probably I should configure Guix and then the services will take care of their own. But I will need to figure that out, because right now I don't have the intuitions for that. Hey Prot, nice to see you in the world of declarative software. Nice to find you here, thank you. Can't log into YouTube because it runs non-free JS. Yes, of course, that would be an issue as well, though it's not the blocker. The blocker is here that I need to be able to run the GPG agent here to have access to my password store, and to also be able to use Git with the ability to sign my commits and that sort of thing. So basically GPG is connected to all sorts of stuff that I am doing, and that's why I would need it. Guix has its own concept of a service, says David Wilson, and the Shepherd service is one possible component of a Guix service. Okay, so I will have to look into that. And another person says, Aeneas here says, sounds like a lot of man-page digging to do, haha. Yeah, that's to be expected, of course. I have no problem with that, and I am actually happy to do it. The problem is that I want to read the documentation from inside Emacs, because doing it through the terminal is not as convenient, and doing it inside of Emacs without my key bindings and everything is also not very convenient, and also my fonts and all sorts of things. And yes, of course, there is a learning curve that is to be expected, because Guix is not like your average Linux distro. It is very, very different in how it does stuff, how it manages things, which is, of course, what adds to its power, because it builds on top of the Unix paradigm, the Linux paradigm, to give you the declarative system, the transactional, package management, rollbacks, and all that. So, of course, it is very different in that regard. Yeah, the idea is to tell Guix what you want, not how you want it to happen. This includes what packages you want, what services, and how they are to be configured, and Guix takes care of it, says BH Ankas, or B Hankas, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is what I got a hint of earlier today, just before I did the announcement for this stream, where I was running. Let me log into. I installed the Guix with just a GNOME just to try it, and then I was like, okay, I will install BSPWM, and then I will set up my tiling window manager, and then I installed BSPWM as root. I am like, okay, I have all the executables in place. I log out and try to log back in, and in the GNOME display manager, when you have lots of sessions, there is a gear icon at the bottom, and you click on the icon and you basically change from GNOME to BSPWM. And I couldn't do that, there was no gear icon. So then I am like, could it be that I have to modify the config scheme file in the etc directory in order to get this going? So I was like, I will do that, and I did that here, as you can see. I didn't know how to do BSPWM, and I found the XFCE desktop service. So I was like, let me install this just to have XFCE instead of GNOME, and let me do the live stream, and then I will figure it out. Probably what you are telling me, folks, is that I should be handling everything with Guix. I should be handling everything with Guix, which means that I should be configuring this file, and then this file will take care of Shepherd and its flock or whatever. And that's what I would be doing. Meaning that I should be configuring this field here, this list, packages installed system-wide. Users can also install packages under their own account. Use Guix search keyword to search for packages, and Guix install package to install a package. So for example, if I were to have my Pavu control system, Pavu control package system-wide, I would have to add it here. Now, the next question I have is how do I inspect the value of this? How would I go about doing that? I read in the documentation that there is a package called Geyser or Geyser or whatever, how it's called, and basically it provides a REPL for a scheme, and I should be using that. But I don't know if that gives me access to the value of these, which I need to test. Let's do a shell. Let's do okay, yes, bash, that's fine. Oh, come on. Let me do can I not be, let's go to the scratch buffer and let's invoke mx shell from here. Okay, and what I want to do is, I remember it was you have to have Guile, you have to have Emacs Geyser. Let me see. Let's find the GNOME Epiphany, GNOME Web, how is it called? I found one. It was called the Perfect Setup. I found it in the Guix manual, but it was in the Guix cookbook, I think. Perfect Setup. It was here. Oh, this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, it's not here. So probably it's in the Guix manual, which I should have access to from here, right? Let's do Guix and perfect. No, I don't remember. It was definitely a Guix page, but I don't remember. Do we have the cookbook? Okay, I have everything here. Perfect. No. Okay. Let's see. Geyser. I don't know. Not here. Let's go back to Guix, and here we don't have anything either. I am pretty sure it was an official Guix page. Let me see, folks, if I have it here. It was channels, not channels. Development. No. Let's see. The Perfect Setup, it was called, and Guix. There it is. Guix reference manual. Let me see. What is the packaging guidelines? Okay, so this is the page. By the way, it's everything bold here. And this is where? This is which manual is this? GNU Guix contributing. Okay. Contributing. And the Perfect Setup. Very nice. Oh, so I didn't have access to the index with... Okay. Anyhow, what I wanted to do is to reach this point. The idea is that this is for hacking on Guix. I would need to install these packages. The question now is, because I would definitely want to have this as root and as user, I would probably add them here. But for now, let me have a shell here. And let's go ahead and do Guix install these. Guix, Emacs Geyser, Guile. Is it Geyser or Geyser? Who knows? And I will also need to have a clone of Guix, the Guix source code. Do you have a quick link here from where I can get it? Or do I have to go searching for it? Let's see. Building from Git. Okay, thank you very much. By the way, the keyboard layout that I have on this laptop is a German layout. It's a quartz layout. Anyhow, let's come here. Oh, CD, I have something like a Git that I did earlier, and I have projects here, and let's have this here. But right now I don't want to install all of Guix. Depth 1 would do fine. Let me check the chat, folks, because it seems that there is some activity going on there. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, David Wilson says, if you install packages as root, it will install in the root user's own profile, not the system. Exactly, that is something I understood the hard way, basically. I tried to install one package as root, and then it was in the root's profile, Guix profile. There's a lot of subtle behavior that goes on underneath everything. Yes, that seems to be the case. Prot, if your system is single user only, I just say install everything system-wide for starters. Yeah, that's a good approach. It will be single user, of course, but I would like to do it as if this would be for an indeterminate number of users. You know, like do it the right way, basically. That would be the idea. And David Wilson says that it is called Geyser, which is great. I prefer that. And thank you. Gotta Run says, have fun. Thank you very much, David. What I have done now is I have installed the Geyser setup, and I have also cloned the Guix repo. And the reason we need to have these in place is to get the perfect setup going. And we will see if it is that. What do we have here? And let me go to my init.el. And we want to give it here the path git Guix like this. And we would need to do, for now, is this working? Let me see. Oh, okay, it's working perfectly. Geyser, and then Geyser, let me get this straight. Geyser Guile, let's do that as well. Okay, and let's have this. And I saw something about Temple. This is for snippets. I am using Temple in my own configuration, but I have to set it up here, and that will be a lot of work right now. For the time being, let us work without any templates. And basically, now that I have Geyser in place, let's kill this buffer and let's go there again. What did I do? Wrong. Here we want to go. Let's see what we have. Because what I want now is, can I run a REPL? Geyser, maybe? Yes. Oh, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, let's see. We have a REPL going. And this works. Of course, I don't know Scheme, but the Lispy parts are the same in Emacs Lisp and in Scheme. But I will learn Scheme as well. I was reading here. Oh, probably this is a typo, right? I was reading here about the convention. These are ordinary variables, and they are adding the percent sign as a prefix. The idea for this, if I understand where this is coming from, is to declare these as read-only. And if you know from Emacs, read-only in the mode line is when you are like this, when you have the percent signs in the mode line. With the default mode line at least, if you are running a Doom mode line or something, of course it's different. But I believe this is where it comes from. Oh, what is this? The thing is, can we go forward? Oh, Control Meta F does something obnoxious here. Okay, so we will have to live with that for now. If I were to do this, would it return a value? No. Unbound variable. How would we go about finding the variables? Should I do... Probably I need to require something. Probably I need to do something. There is help here. Help module. List module commands. Let's do that. Help a module and import module. If I were to import the GNU module, hopefully it won't destroy everything. Let's do this, folks. Import. And let's import the GNU module. Wrong type, expecting pair. Maybe it's without. No, it should be like this. Maybe it's module import. This did something. Let's see. Very well. And base packages. Raise exception, unbound variable again. Type BT. This is the backtrace. Okay, but if it's a void, if it's an unbound variable, of course, what's the backtrace there? How would we go about it? Maybe load. Let's try with load. Instead of import, let's do load. This works again. Base packages. Nope. And let's see. And it's a list. The use modules is a list here. And probably what I did has to be a list as well. Module import, but I don't know if it should be module because in the help it was like this. Okay, we got it to work. This is what is compiling. What it is doing? Compiling. Okay, I see something to the Guix source code. Okay, hopefully this will not break things, folks. But if I suddenly disappear, then you know why. But let's see. No code for module Guix config. Failed. Okay. Failed means that this will fail as well. Okay. Of course, it would have to be the packages as well, right? Because what we have here is the base packages. Let's try this. GNU packages, maybe, but I don't have the packages anywhere there. I have them in the next list. Probably that doesn't matter. It didn't do anything now. Okay. Let's see. Because what I want to do is I want to learn about the documentation. I want to learn, okay, what is this? How do I learn documentation about this? What are the arguments it expects? What are, everything. How is this introspectable, basically? This is the idea. How would we go about doing it? If I were to call it like this, does it do anything? Use modules, unbound variable. Again, you see, everything is unbound, so whatever I have here is not known to Geyser, and I am pretty sure I called it from here, Geyser, I called it from here, and Geyser didn't read this, so I have to do something to make it read from here. Let me see the chat, because I spotted scrolling. I managed to get a basic Guix install on an ePC. I don't know what the ePC is, netbook, with only 2 GB of storage, even had Emacs on there. Wow. But what about if you have to compile stuff? I guess that will be very cumbersome, or outright impossible, right? If you want to do anything there, just the source code and everything. Felipe Balbi says maybe import GNU with okay, yeah, that's what I did earlier, but it gave me an error. Q to leave the debug context. 1 second. What? Q. So I am in the debug now. I see a number there. Okay, so I am inside of the recursive thing. Okay, that's the... Let's try again, if I do the GNU packages as well. Oh, it didn't report any error now. But, what is it doing? Nope. And Q. Okay. But let's continue reading, maybe you are telling me what this is. David Connor says, I think import GNU as a list would work. Okay, that's what I tried, but it seems to be giving an error. The real compiles everything to bytecode. If it notices no difference in timestamp between the source and the Go file, it assumes the compiled is current. So the REPL does that. H gives more info about introspection. There is a Guix REPL command, if I recall correctly. If there is a Guix REPL, why are they telling me that the perfect setup is with Geyser? In the Guix manual, nonetheless. So we will need to see. But if there is a Guix REPL, I am definitely interested in that, because this Geyser thing is probably something else, and I don't need to worry about it now. Let me then, since I am in the Guix manual, let me go to the top and see if we have anything with the REPL. Here, system configuration, home configuration. That is also something I am very keen on experimenting with. Development. I read that, but does the index have anything? Okay, very good. REPL. REPL. Oh, very promising, folks. The REPL, what is that? This is the Guile REPL. But this is what Geyser should give you, right? It's the same idea. Even the prompt is the same. It's not like a Guix specific REPL, it's a Guile REPL, basically, if I understand this correctly. Which is what I was already doing there. And let's continue here. Let's try again with Geyser. Oh no, it took my place over there. And let's remove this and have it like this. Let's try again from scratch. Show C. What is the show C? It's the show copyright. No, we don't want to worry about the copyright now. Let's do again the help. Give information about Guile. Apropos. Okay, that's good. Describe. That's very good. Describe. Describe use modules. Okay. Because to actually tell it about use modules, I have to import GNU, right? And let's see again. Maybe now that I am not running it as root, it will work, because earlier, now that I realize it, I was running it as root from that file. And probably that was the error. Let's see. In the meantime, let me check if you have anything new in the chat. Where are we? David Connor says, yes, I wish I knew how to clear out the backtrace without typing Q repeatedly. Yeah, that would be nice. For example, when we have on Emacs, when we have the what is known as the recursive mini buffer, you just type control and the right square bracket and you are out of the recursion. But yeah, having the equivalent in Geyser would be nice. Of course, this is Emacs Lisp, so I'm pretty sure we can have a key binding that does that for us. Anush says, hello prot, joined just now, probably add the location to Guile load path. Okay, I will check that now, but maybe it is compiling now. It seems to be working now. By the way, this is something I will have to inspect further. Like, what is the Guile load path? What are we doing here? What is the difference? You see, all those things are stuff that I needed to learn. But now it is compiling for sure. So earlier the error was that when I started my REPL, I started it from the etc config scheme file, which is a root file. And so I was, as a root user, trying to get the Guix source code as a root user. So there was a mismatch there of some kind, and that was throwing the exception. Whereas now it seems to be doing the right thing. And I am very excited to try this. Because for me, the whole promise of Guix, why I want Guix fundamentally, it's not so much about the rollbacks, not so much about the declarative aspect of it. These are wonderful, of course, these are great. But what I want is to be able to have basically the equivalent of the Emacs environment for my entire distribution, for my entire GNU/Linux setup, where I can check a variable over there and introspect it, see what a function does, be able to redefine stuff, be able to write my own code and do it this way, and above all, do it in a uniform fashion. Do it with one language, because what we have in the rest of Linux land is a complete disaster. You have, each file has its own configuration paradigm. It's completely out of control. Whereas here we will learn a scheme, and we will do everything in scheme, and the world will be a happier place. But of course, until we reach that point, we will have to go through the gauntlet of learning the tools, which of course is non-trivial work. I don't know how long it will take to compile this. I have never done this before. Hopefully it won't be too long. But of course I can regale you with stories, but that's not why I'm doing the stream. At least I am making some progress, one small step at a time. David Wilson was in the chat earlier of System Crafters, and of course David has all the answers, and I could check what David has done in all the streams and all the documentation, but for me part of the fun is breaking stuff and trying to understand it from the ground up. So even though David provides the solution that is normally the correct solution, for me part of the learning process is to proceed through trial and error. For example, the first trial and error is what I did earlier in the terminal, where I was trying to install the Pavu control. Let's close this, by the way. The Pavu control, and then see how that works, and trying to make sense of it. I will need to understand this file better, the config scheme file better, because one thing that is now apparent to me, one aspect of the design that is now apparent to me, is when you are doing sudo Guix install package, you are not actually defining it for the system. And this means that you are not actually appending anything here. For example, the BSPWM file, the program I installed earlier, it's not in my list of packages, so it's as if it doesn't exist. Meaning that basically it makes no sense to do any kind of sudo install package unless you want to use it as a super user specifically. Otherwise it makes no sense, because it is not available to all users, and more importantly it is not registered here. The beauty of Guix, if I get this to work the way I want, is that once I have this file, this config file all set in place, I can just have this file and basically recreate the entire setup on my desktop computer, on my current computer, and that will be very, very nice, because then I will eliminate a point of friction that always exists when you are installing Linux on a new computer, which is that you have to reinstall everything. You have to make sure everything is in place, and basically that's not easy work. With Pacman on Arch Linux, for example, you can do Pacman capital Q and lower Q, and that will give you the list of all your packages, and you can output that, redirect that to a file, and then in a new Arch Linux setup, use Pacman to read from a file and install all the packages from there. So technically you have part of the setup recreated that way, but it's not exactly the same thing as you have it here with Guix, because here you are also setting the time zone, you are setting the keyboard layout, the name of the users if you have lots of users, and basically everything else that is not part of what you have there. Which now makes me question this part here as I see it. Would it try to recreate this? Because this would obviously be wrong on a new hardware. That is something I need to understand better. So question mark about this. If we are recreating our setup, how do we manage the new partitions basically, and how do we go about doing that? Of course, if you have ever installed Arch Linux, you know what this is. If you don't understand this, these are the partitions of the disk, and this is basically what you would get in the FS tab. That's the idea of it. It is still compiling here, and we will probably be here for a while. I see that it is doing something with bibtech and tech live and stuff. Probably that's the documentation of the package. We just have to wait. We have to be patient. Part of doing this is an exercise in patience, folks. An exercise in character building. But I want to get this going because I want to introspect things. I don't just want to blindly add stuff here without understanding what is going on. I prefer to take it slow, spend a week or a month or a year, I don't know how long, understanding what I am doing and iterate on that. I don't want to just copy paste and call it a day basically. Felipe Balbi says, Guix REPL starts Geyser with the required packages loaded. Okay, and what is the command? It's Guix REPL? But now I am doing it anyway from here. I am compiling this. But in that case, I will try it. What happened here? Did I do anything? Okay, let's try it. Let's try it, folks. Guix --help. Is there a REPL? There it is. Wow. Guix REPL. Oh, so let me see if I can get it going. Because this means that I wasted my time with the other one. Describe use modules. Nope. Let's see, describe and base packages. No, unbound variable. Felipe, probably you have something in your setup that I don't have, because this is not working on my end. Or maybe I need to have the guile load path as Anush suggested. Exit. Oh, it's not, it's quit. Okay. What is the guile? How do you say? Okay. Guile load path and okay. And what would I need to set this to? I have no idea. Would I need to have this locally as well or something? I don't know. But let's leave it at that. What are we here doing? I wait for this to finish. Unless this has finished and I am just sitting here staring at it. But if it were to finish, probably it would put me back to the prompt, right? Control C, Control P. It works in all the REPLs. It works here. So I assume it hasn't finished. And let's see what we have. Okay, we have stuck here. That's unfortunate. I lost my momentum with this thing. I was hoping for it to work a bit faster so that I could get to the point where I inspect this. I would also want to learn, other things like cons with a star. I would like to understand what this means. I have lots of questions basically. Everything I have is a question. I presume this is a list. Name, prot, this is just an association list, and it's just like that, and this is like this is how it's done in Scheme, I guess. We would need to see. I see something. Location for the modules you are planning to load in Guile, similar to load path for Emacs. And it's probably not stuck. Guix is slow and Tech is massive. Tech is definitely massive, that I know. Also GTK Plus and Cairo and stuff. Yeah, so it's doing a lot of work here. This will take a long time, folks. Probably much longer than I have allotted for this live stream. I was hoping that I could do something within a couple of hours, but it's already an hour. Actually, I don't know. How long have we been into this? An hour. Okay, so until 11:30 I will probably have it going. But if not, then some other time. No problem, no stress. We will see. We will see what we can do. Is there something else I could do in the meantime? Of course, I could read some documentation. And they have the REPL here. This assumes Geeks daemon. Okay, let's start from the beginning. System installation. I did this. Getting started. Let's go with this. Getting started. Geek search. Okay, I did this. And I keep getting this hint, by the way, all the time, even though I have set it in my bash RC to not bother me the whole time. But maybe I need to not have it in the bash RC, and probably it should be something else. You must tell your shell where Emacs and other programs installed with Geeks are to be found. Pasting the two lines above will do just that. Pasting them where? It will add, which is... but more importantly, you should add them to bash profile. Ah, interesting. Oh, so not in the bash RC, but in the bash profile. Ah, fascinating. Let's get some work going, folks. Why would I have to have it in a bash profile, though? This is part of the things that it's not entirely clear to me after all those years of using Linux. Bash profile. And load my configs. Probably first, like this. Do a white space mode. Why did it mess up with my indentation? Okay, very well. Okay, so this has to be in the bash profile. Let me see. Let me try to install something. Guix search. Is any of my packages on Guix? Let's see. I know some of them are. If I search by name, will I find anything? That's unfortunate. Let's see. Which one of my packages should I search for? Fontaine, for example. Emacs Fontaine, there it is, version 1.0. Ah, that's good. Bframe 0.3. Oh, it's also the latest version. Which one? Denote. Where is Denote? 1.1.1. Oh, this is actually, I'm not sure if this is the latest or not. We could find out, but that's beside the point now. Okay, so there are a few. No, this is Denote is 1.2. Sorry, Denote is correct, and Denote menu. Okay, that's great. This is wonderful work, folks. Thank you for doing this packaging. Let's do it like this. Pulsar. Oh no, not like that. Pulsar. Pulsar. Oh my goodness. Pulsar. Okay, great. I still have it on version 0.5. Okay, so basically every package I search for is here. I won't try others. But let's try one more. The F themes, are they there? Oh, they are there, version 1 and Modus. By the way, I won a Google award. I announced it yesterday for my Modus themes, which you may think is completely random. But Google apparently has an open source program, something like that, and they are awarding people for their contributions to, as they call it, open source. In our case, of course, we know that free software and open source are not exactly the same thing. There is a lot of overlap, but they are not exactly the same. Anyhow, what I want to do is install something. Guix install. Let's install the F themes. Emacs F themes. And the award I won from Google is for the Modus themes. You can read about it on my website, and there is a link to the Google blog post about it. And I am very happy, of course, for that. I think it's very important to acknowledge the value of software that enhances the experience of users, empowers users to use their computer. Because when you have colors that are not legible, I don't care how much freedom you have on paper, you simply cannot exercise that freedom, for example. That's just one tiny aspect of it. Of course, there are many other aspects to accessibility or usability more broadly. Let me see, what are they writing here? Are optimized for users. Okay, so this snippet will need to be updated once I have the Tritanopia themes as well for Modus. Tritanopia is the blue-yellow color deficiency, and I have themes for that as well in the Modus family. They also exist in the F family, the F themes, and I am happy to try that. Oh, it's taking a while here as well now. But anyway, the reason I am doing this is to test the Guix profile inside of the Bash profile. We will see how that works. In the meantime, let me also take a quick look at the chat. I can tell you about the HUT project in the meantime, yes. Yesterday I did some work on the frame for the land, and basically my entire body hurts because it's a lot of work, folks. It's a lot of work to set the planks on the ground, to make sure you hammer it in the right place, make sure everything is straight. It's a lot of work. I will do a video. I didn't do a video because my battery was low and I forgot to charge it. But I will do a video next time. I'm not done anyway. And the idea is that you have to do under the beating sun. Today it's a cloudy day, but yesterday and the day before it was very warm. And you have to do it under the beating sun, and it's not nice. It's not nice, but it's work that I have to do. Because if I don't get the hat up, it will be very unfortunate. The alternative is not a good alternative. So yeah, there is that. I planted a tree, which I did a video about. And there are other trees I want to plant. I have spotted a few ones, but the one I definitely want to plant is the so-called Greek strawberry tree. The technical name for it is arbutus. Maybe if we can take a break here. Oh, what is that? Error. Corrupt input while restoring archive from socket. Oh, okay. Maybe if we can try again. With no substitutes. No substitutes. No substitutes, like this. Probably I should have the option before, but let's see if it works like this. Let's see the Greek strawberry tree, folks. EWW arbutus, like this, andrachnia, I think, andrachnia. Let's see if this is how it's called. Arbutus andrachnia. Oh, my internet is very slow right now, it seems. I'm not sure what is happening. So hopefully the stream is still going. But if not, then I am sorry. Oh, this is taking forever. They don't like Greek strawberry trees in DuckDuckGo land, it seems. Ducks prefer the rivers and the water element, whereas I want my mountain trees. Let's check the chat in the meantime, because it seems nothing wants to work right now. We have Arnaud Le Chevalier saying, I made a package for font Iosefka Comfy recently. Oh, that's wonderful. And for substitute this week. Ah, great. Thank you very much. So it's a patch, I should say. Did you try Emacs Guix commands if you installed Emacs Guix package before? The answer is no. And someone is telling me in the chat, BH Ankas, I'm not sure how I should be pronouncing this. It's Arbutus andrachni. This is correct. It's not andrachnia. But if only EWW was working, the world would be a happier place. Let's try just Arbutus and see what happens. Oh, this works. Andrachni, like this. Arbutus andrachni. This is the Greek strawberry tree. It is a beautiful tree, folks. A beautiful tree that grows in the wilderness, in the mountains. And look at this. This is a thing of beauty. Can we enlarge here? Oh, yes. This has the bark of this tree is red tinted. You can see here. This is like its real color. This is not edited, and it's smooth. It's very smooth. It's a very nice tree. It's called the strawberry tree, the Greek strawberry tree, but of course it doesn't yield strawberry fruit. Its fruit is small. It's a bit like apples, like small apples. How do we shrink here? It won't. It's like small apples, basically, and it's very nice. And they can be eaten as well. It says here, its fruits ripen in autumn and when left to dry in a cool place are eaten as sweet, chewy candy. That's great. Can reach a height of 12 meters. This is too tall. I've never seen such a tall Greek strawberry tree. The smooth bark is exfoliating during the summer, leaving a layer with a pistachio green color, which changes gradually to a beautiful orange brown. The flowers bloom in spring and are white or yellowish green. This is the idea. It's wonderful. A wonderful, wonderful tree, folks. And I want to find one of those and plant it because it's also evergreen. Does it say here? Evergreen? Evergreen? No? Is an evergreen shrub or small tree. So yes, it is evergreen. And as I also said in my last video that I did where I was planting the tree, you want to plant evergreen trees on the northern side of your house because they will form a natural barrier for the cold winds. And on the southern side, you want to have trees that shed their leaves. How are they called? Effervescent? I'm not sure actually. That shed their leaves, and the idea with that is that they allow sunlight to come through during winter, and during the summer they provide the shade, which is very nice. Let's see what we can do. Here I am stuck with that. Here I am stuck with this. Maybe we can do this. Does this work? Nope. I wanted to do a transpose. Can I? Okay, let's do it. No substitutes. No substitutes. Like this. Or maybe the package is completely broken and I'm just trying to do the wrong thing. Let's see. But yeah, the idea, what I was telling you about the hat, the idea is that I have to finish the frame on the ground. It is laborious, it is very difficult, but I have to finish that, and then it's time to pour in the concrete. I don't know when that will happen. I have to have a layer of nylon, of plastic, on the surface, on the land. The nylon, the plastic, will make sure that you don't get humidity from the ground into the concrete. That's the one thing. On top of the nylon, there will be a metallic grid, and then inside of that, I will pour the concrete, the cement. It will be about 10 centimeters of cement in height, and this will serve as the foundation of the hut. And then on top of that, build the skeleton, which is another extremely difficult task, but it has to be done as well. The welding of the metals, the joints of the skeleton, will be handled by an expert. I don't know how to do that, and it's not something I can learn to do right now, and I also don't have the equipment for it, so somebody else will take care of that, but I will also be there assisting, providing a hand there. And then we will see how it goes from there. It seems to be building the package now here. It seems to be installing Emacs as well, even though I have it. What's the idea? Why is it doing that? Or is it just a build dependency and then it is removed? Because I see here lots of stuff. Okay, we will need to figure that out. Logi Ross says, hello prot, hello chat, hello to you as well. And Arnaud is, it can take a very long time with no substitute because it recompiles the entire package. Okay, that makes sense. I can tell that it does that because now it needs to get all the build dependencies. This is actually good though, because now you can have the package from source basically, if I understand this correctly. What I don't get yet, but would be interesting to know, is if I can actually go and inspect this source, because I see this is a tarball. I don't know what the DRV is, probably the derivation of Guix. That's a Guix thing. But probably if I were to go and find this in the store, I could check the source code directly, right? That would make sense. Now it will take a long time because probably it is doing a configure of Emacs. So it is building everything, the entire dependency tree. So it will be building Emacs, Emacs minimal, then Emacs 28, then the F themes, I guess. So that will take a long time. Okay, so basically I decided to do two things that are taking forever. What can we do, folks? But this is part of the process of learning. And I think this is part of the fun as well. Like, you just, you know, try things, you run a REPL, you run a shell, you are in Emacs, you do stuff, and you hope for the best. Let's see what we have in the chat. B. Hankes says, Guix tracks packages not just by the name plus version, but by the exact hash of combination of entire dependency tree all the way from libc, which is very good in that way, because this is the whole point of the reproducibility that the Guix folks are talking about. I am very excited about this because this is another thing. I know you wrote something more, I will read it, but this is another thing where we are talking about free software. Like, I am on Arch Linux and I am like package install, and I am installing a binary from Arch Linux, and this comes with a GPL license or whatever, and I'm like, I just installed some free software. But I don't know if this free software is actually derived from free software, if the entire chain of dependencies is reproducible to arrive at that end, at that finished article over there. And because I don't know that, it's not entirely clear to me if there is some step in this process that is not free. Whereas with Guix, you have this reproducibility of the entire system, and I was reading that they are basically bootstrapping the whole thing from a minimal, I don't know how they start, but from a minimal C compiler to GCC and basically to the rest of the ecosystem, which is on a technical level, this is an amazing feat. This is a great piece of technology. Now let me see what you said below. Which means if any dependency changes, your Emacs package will be rebuilt for it because the hash of dependency tree changed. That makes sense. Yes, that's good. Logi Ross says, what a coincidence. I also got a ThinkPad today, T14, and I was planning to install Debian on it. So before you install Debian, you will go find Guix and download that, burn the ISO, and then take it from there. I think it's worth it. I think unless you have to have a system that has to be, you know, up and running at all times, having an extra computer to use it for Guix, I think it's a great idea. I couldn't do this. I have been tracking Guix, as I said earlier. Since many years ago, I have been excited to test it. At one point, I switched to Guix. At the time, I had the laptop, the Lenovo ThinkPad X470, the laptop I had which broke. I don't know why it doesn't work anyway. But I had the laptop and I installed Guix on it. That was circa 2019. But at the time, Guix was very slow for every transaction, and it was very difficult for me to install packages to get it going. Also, my laptop was underpowered. I couldn't build stuff, I couldn't do anything, and it was very difficult for me to work with it, so I had to abandon it and basically use Debian or Arch. I don't remember what I switched to at the time there. So there was that. But now that I have this spare laptop, I can run Guix here, do all my experiments here, and when I need to do work, you know, my email, my package development on Emacs and everything, I can do it on this computer that I have here in front of me, and that's perfectly fine for it. Just let me see what's the time like. It's 11 o'clock, so we have time yet. Of course, I have the clock here, so yeah. So there is that. But let's see what we have, folks. Still building. It will continue building for a while. This has stuck here. I don't know what I should be expecting. Let's leave it. Let's leave it as it is. I don't want to mess with it. But I don't know. Is it stuck? Is it still working? It's no, it didn't move. You see, make believe. I was about to say it moved, but it was just me scrolling, and then I bamboozled myself. Anyway, I got into that package installation process because I wanted to see if adding this to the bash profile would work. I have added it to the bash profile, and I want to continue from there. Let's see what we have. Or equivalent file. If you do not use bash, so that environment variables are set next time, you only need to do this once. Package list installed. Okay, you can go and install packages at your will to list installed packages, run this. Okay, this is good. This is good. Guix package list installed. If I were to do here, let's see. Guix list packages, the list installed. Does that work? Okay, no. Guix package list installed would work, but I am curious. List available. Okay, list installed. I am curious if we have a shortcut for this, just like we have a shortcut for the install. List profiles, list availables, list installed. Of course, I'm not complaining now, but I'm just curious. We have it like this, and maybe we can enlarge this a little bit. No, this is a mess. Less. GNOME tweaks. So these are the things I installed locally. Yeah, OpenSSH. These are my woes. This is what I had, the GNU PG. These are my woes with the GNU Shepherd services I was telling you about earlier. Meaning that I will want to uninstall OpenSSH. I will want to uninstall GNU PG, I guess, pin entry. That's the other thing. I don't know which of these packages I should install system-wide, which of these should be just for the user. I'm not sure. But I guess for the user, I would have, for example, the Emacs packages, because if you have another user, it doesn't mean that they will also be an Emacs user. I don't have another user, again, but the idea is to do this right. Like, imagine that I have another user, and I want to give them this laptop, and they have to use it now. What sort of packages should they have access to? This is the question. Meaning that OpenSSH, GNU PG, these sort of things probably should be system-wide. MPV should be system-wide for sure. Guile, Emacs Geyser, those things probably should be local, should be to the user. The pin entry should be system-wide, I guess. Okay, these are all the packages I have. And the fonts. The fonts should be system-wide for sure. GNOME tweaks should be system-wide. So I have a lot of work, folks. And I want this to work so that I can go and hack on my Guix config file. But we will get to that anyway. The list generations. Yes, I read about this. Generations are basically the rollbacks that Guix can do. I will benefit from that for sure. What I want to check here on this is how many does it actually store? Is it indefinite or is there like a limit? Because otherwise I would need to set some variable or something to make sure that there are not too many. I would like to have like the last 5 or something, but not the last 500, if that makes sense. So probably that is covered, but we will get there. These I did already, these I read already. Okay, Guix describe. That's another thing I want to do. The Guix describe. Let's see. Guix describe. Describe. And okay, it's just telling you the latest version. Oh, I installed the latest, it seems. Ah, very interesting. I had the impression that I installed the last stable version, but apparently I didn't. So there is that. What is this time, by the way? This is the time of installation, the time of the commit. What is this? Generation 2, probably the time of what I did. And let's see here. You may also find time machine handy. Okay. And this I did earlier in the morning when I configured that file and installed the XFCE that way. I learned that you have to install it that way. And the system rollback, that will be useful for when you want to undo some breaking change. The website contains videos. I think the website should also link to David Wilson's videos, because I visited that page and it had like 4 videos, 5-minute long videos, which are useful but I don't think are sufficient, whereas System Crafters has several hours, I would say, of material, which would be very valuable to people. I don't know why they don't acknowledge it there. Okay, let's continue. I saw something in the chat moving. DGM says, oh, 1 second. I missed one here. Having substitute server for Guix Nix is pretty much a must, or you'll be rebuilding the universe quite often. Yes, I did enable it. I did enable the substitutes, but for this one case I didn't do it because I wanted to install the package, and apparently it worked, folks, so it was done. It didn't take that long. I was expecting it to take more. Let me see. Now I have installed. Let's go to my init.tl. As you can tell, I am a bit all over the place today because this is a spontaneous stream. And let me see. Require F themes. Will this work now? Nope. And why is it not working? 1 second. Emacs F themes. And I installed these locally, I'm pretty sure. Huh. Why did the geyser work earlier but this not? Can we go into this? What is this? Is this a file? Is this a directory? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? What is it? Let's see. And like this. What is this? Okay, derive, and this is a file. F themes. F themes. Builder. And okay, I was expecting this to work for me now. If I were to try this again, let's see the load path. Load path like this. Otherwise I will append to it. Guix profile share Emacs site Lisp. Oh, so geyser, this one is added to the load path. I'm pretty sure I didn't add it myself. Whereas the F themes are not added to the path. What is in here? Let's see. Here we have F themes. There they are. And so why is it not reading? Because it is not reading because this is not recursive. Oh, that switched off. It is not recursive, and let me see, folks. It is a bit inconvenient to get the entire path like this. Of course I can do it, it's not like it's completely impossible, but I would expect this to be done automatically, you know. Add to list, load path and the path, probably like this. Just let me see how geyser is done, just to be sure. Yeah, this looks correct. Let's hope for the best. And like this. Okay, this works. Of course this works now, but if I recreate the package, this will break because can we do... Oh, let's... we cannot do transposition. So if I were to try this again, it will fail because now I am hard coding it to this hash, whereas I wanted to basically work with everything and I don't want to have to deal with this. Let's see, can I load the theme now? Let's load version 1, right? So is Symbiosis here? I don't remember, or is it in the... no, don't do that to me. No confirm. By the way, the fact that themes ask for confirmation is a relic of the past that I think should be retired. We shouldn't have to deal with that anymore because themes are ordinary Emacs Lisp. If you are asking me whether I should be loading the theme, you should be asking me the same question about everything. And otherwise it is just annoying. Okay, let's keep this for a change of pace. Why not? Let's keep this so that it's easier to spot Emacs. Oh, what did I do? I don't want this. Put this down. Oh, okay. These are all the three I have. It worked. The thing I got with oh, now I think I understand what happened. Because it is in my bash profile. Let's see. Let's try to install another package. Guix install Emacs. Let's install which one should I install? Let's install bframe. Let's see. And we have this. This will take a second. I think the substitutes are speeding the process considerably. Okay, let me see now. Require bframe. Let's see. Error. Okay, so let me see if I am getting this right. Because earlier I changed my bash RC to move the stuff to the bash profile, but doing so had the effect of impacting this. I think this is not a coincidence. Let's try again. Guix remove Emacs bframe. This is trial and error, folks. I don't know if what I am doing now is correct, but let's see if I need to have it both in the bash profile and in the bash RC. Let's see if that has any impact on it. Bash RC, and let's go ahead and do this, and let's see what it does for us. I can check the chat very quickly. In the meantime, where are we? Hello everyone, says DGM. Do you think Guix OS could be the natural path to a more realistic Emacs OS? That's a tricky question, I guess, because while they are similar, I think they are still different, sufficiently different. What they have in common is that they are Lisp systems. And in being Lisp means that you have a nice programming language to work with instead of all those random configuration languages that every package has, which I think would be nice. The more we have of that, the better. That's the one thing. You will be having a REPL and you will be doing stuff with the REPL, which reminds me that I should check what these guys are up to these days. It's this one. It's still there. Probably, I don't know what is happening there. Probably it has stuck somewhere, or tech is just so massive that it will consume all my system resources. But yeah, I think you have something that is like an Emacs. You have like an Emacs OS, but I wouldn't call it Emacs per se. Because of the differences in scope of application. They try to solve different problems. And I think the meme of Emacs is a good operating system, that meme, while it rests on a kernel of truth, it is true in some way, it is also misleading, because Emacs is not really good as an OS or anything like it. It has lots and lots of issues there. But otherwise, yes, I think Emacs and Guix go hand in hand. It makes perfect sense to go down this path. Let's see, where are we? Arnaud says, I got to go now. Happy to see you trying Guix. Thank you, Arnaud, for your comments earlier. I am happy to learn. I am just, trying this out. And I will proceed through trial and error and then see how it goes. Speaking of trial and error, Bframe has been installed. Let's see now if I were to do it like this. Require Bframe. Does it make any difference? Oh, sorry. It doesn't. So I will have to see what the issue is there. I don't need to install it now anywhere. Anyhow, let's remove it. I will have a better way to install these. I will see how best to do it. I want it to be declarative. I wanted to use Guix Home. I don't know exactly how I will do it. So for now, I don't care about reproducing my setup. And this means that what I did with the bash RC was irrelevant. Let's see here, Guix. Here, and let's do that. Okay, that's good. What do we have? Let's see more of the chat. Hi there, Mirza says, I've never reached a limit to the amount of generations. You can use Guix GC to delete some of the generations. I don't know the parameters though. I think I read about the Guix GC, the garbage collector, yes. But yeah, I would need to know, like, can you do it automatically? Can I say, trim the last, I don't know, keep 100 and then trim the rest or something like that? I don't know. But I will look into it. Let's see what we have. Just make sure that Emacs is installed in the same profile as all your Emacs packages. I think you have to do that. It should be done automatically. This is strange because let's see, what is the Guix profile? Guix profile, it's the home profile, and if I do Guix package I, what I learned about earlier, dash capital I, let's see, can we have this? Emacs is installed as part of my local thing, I understand. So there is that. By the way, Arnaud told me that they have installed Iosefka Comfy, which I definitely need. Iosefka Comfy. Iosevka Comfy is my modified version of Iosevka. Install font Iosevka Comfy. I definitely want my font, thank you very much. 1.2 is the latest version, I don't remember. It would be nice to show, you know, like when was this package built, to have this here. Of course it's not a problem, probably if I do a describe it is there, but just looking at it now it would be nice. The monitor switch is off. Okay, let's see what else do we have. There is a package to shorten Guix path. It's called Emacs Guix, I think. It's the package that also has the transient interface and stuff, right? I will be checking that, yes, for sure. And then the folks are talking. I wish I could share the chat here, but I cannot do it. Maybe next time we will see. We will see how that is done. It will install stuff. Of course, what I would want to do is to have this done with the font config and not do it manually. Let me see. If I go to my git projects.files, for now I am using stow, but eventually the idea is to do this with Guix Home. Guix Home, unless I am mistaken, is something that is that was developed by Andrew Tropin, and Andrew is also maintaining a YouTube channel. You can find live streams there. Andrew has the RDE Guix setup. You can check that as well, and basically Andrew is an expert when it comes to Guix. I did the font config, and now I would expect it to work. Let's start a new terminal and see. Nope. Because the reason is that I need to change my things here. I didn't do it earlier. I should have monospace here. Monospace regular. This is great. And here sans regular. And this is wonderful, folks. This is very nice. Okay, so we have this. Emacs hasn't picked it up, but not a problem because I can always do it from here. Set face attribute, default face, nil, family, monospace. Monospace is not a real family, but with font config, it doesn't read it correctly now. Iosevka Comfy and height 100. What? Oh, I have to restart Emacs. No! This is not what I want to do. It's not reading it until I restart it. No, I won't do that. Because I want Geyser to do its thing. Height 90 then. Yeah, keep it at that. I want, you know, for as long as I am here, I want this to work. Because if this doesn't work, then how am I supposed to introspect my system? In the meantime, let's install Guix install Emacs Guix, which is the package that integrates Guix and Emacs. I guess for package management and stuff. We will see. And oh, it's still producing this message. I'm pretty sure I have it now in my bash profile, right, where I was told it should belong. Yeah, it is there. Why is it still annoying me? Anyhow, it's not a problem, but require Emacs Guix. Let me see. Okay, error again. And this is not looking good. Because if I restart, oh, what did I do? What did I do? Come on. Oh, I rolled, yeah. And I would have to have, why did when I installed Geyser it installed correctly, and when I installed these it doesn't install? Maybe if maybe I need to do again the, oh, come on. These are all in the same, they are all appearing here, so I assume they are all the same, in the same place, right? And why wouldn't it then do the right thing? Set XKB map, by the way, should be global. Of course, I know that I can give it, you know, the path here and it will work, add it to the load path of Emacs, but that's beside the point. I would want this to be automatic. Maybe if I do source Guix profile, maybe if we do this, yes, do it now, I believe in you. What did it do? And nope. Oh, it seems that I will have to uninstall, to remove Emacs and reinstall. Let's actually I can start a new Emacs process. No problem, no stress. Development, Emacs. And oh, come on. 1 second. Why did I remove this? No confirm. And oh, sorry. Development Emacs. Emacs Guix cannot be found. Blah blah blah. Okay. .emacs init.el. Can we do something about this? It seems that the spacing of my font is a bit awkward. I would expect this to be a bit tighter. Huh. Strange. But let's have it at 100. And let's now have family Iosevka Comfy. I don't want this variant. Okay, this is better. Okay, this is good. Let me see motion. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Let's keep the motion. It's just the 100 that was the problem. The 900 rather. The 90. Oh, it doesn't do. Back. Okay, good. And we have this is not working. I want to get this to work without having to install. Okay, earlier I did this for the F themes, and for some reason now the F themes are loaded. Yes, so why is not Emacs Guix being loaded? That's the question. Because the load path definitely has the Guix profile again. as always. And if I go here, Guix Emacs, I see it there. The reason is because I am calling it wrong. Find library, Guix, and it's just Guix, of course. It's just Guix, folks. There we have it. And let's see what we have. Find library Guix, and what do we have here? To search for packages, and to look at their code. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Great. To manage your Guix profiles. To look at... This is a thing that I don't quite get yet. So you can have multiple profiles under the same user, but I guess the idea is to have like the equivalent of containers, or what was it? I'm not sure. We will get into that. To look at system services and generations, if you use Guix system. To do many other things. MX Guix help to look at the summary of available commands. Thank you very much. Guix help. What kind of buffer is this? They have a bespoke buffer for this, or is this a generic help buffer? Okay, this is the native comp. Another thing I want to do is I want to have my own build of Emacs. I don't want to install from that. I want to give it my own flags. But I will learn how to do that. One step at a time. One small step at a time. Packages by name, license, location. What does location mean? Starting Guix REPL. Oh. What is this? Unbound variable again. So something is amiss, folks. I have to specify, I don't know, the guile path somewhere for this to work, because it didn't work here. This thing is still compiling, and probably I will kill it. And it's not working here either, which means that something is wrong with my setup. I will get into that. Obsolete packages, superseded packages, all packages. Let me see, because I clicked here earlier, and what it did is to start a REPL. And every time I try to start the REPL, it does this error. So definitely something is wrong with my setups. Definitely. I will have to read their manual and figure that part out. Provides a top level pop-up. Let's do Guix. Okay, this is nice. This is the transient. Wonderful stuff. So if you do P for packages and A for all, you are supposed to go into the REPL. This doesn't work. And so you have to proceed differently. How? That remains to be determined. The Guix pop-up, we don't need to worry about that. Prettify mode. Okay, that will be nice. And okay, to shorten the stuff from this to that, that's good. And variables mode. Enable, disable, prettify, no. Build log mode, shell completions, development. Okay, I will have to read this in depth at another time, folks. What's the time like? Because I should get going. It's already 2 hours into the stream. I should get going soon. So yeah, I will close this. I will kill this, folks, because how do we kill it anyway? Of course I can just kill the buffer. Oh, let's see. Kill it with fire. Yes. That's great. Let's have this. and let's how do we do? Where is the delete here? Okay, that's the thing with German keyboard. Oh, okay, yeah, of course I modified it. Anyway, let's close this and I will open it again because I want to still do something before I close this, before I forget. And let's go to the init.el, .emacs init.el, and we want to do toolbar mode and scroll bar mode and menu bar mode, just like this. Okay, these will all be removed. That's very nice. I will be installing all my Emacs packages with Guix going forward, so that's very nice. Let me now close Emacs. Just minimize this. I will just check the last few messages in the chat here, folks, and then I will terminate this stream. As you can tell, there is a lot to learn. I am very excited to continue learning and to continue experimenting with this. What I want to do eventually is set up a BSPWM tiling window manager. I don't want to use GNOME, I don't want to use XFCE, I don't care about Wayland. It can wait for another 10 years before it is ready. I don't need to use it now. I just want to have a system that works for me. And then I will be doing my regular Emacs work from inside of Guix. I want to learn how to have my own Guix packages, like local packages that are basically like my build of Emacs and that sort of thing. And basically see if I can make this system be equivalent to my Arch Linux system in terms of productivity. If I can do the same stuff here that I do on Arch, then what I will do is take this and basically install it on the desktop. Otherwise, I will continue tinkering with this and see how it goes. Closing comments in the chat. Let's see what we have. Hello and thank you for creating your Sefka Confi, says Yogi. You are welcome. I think having a font that is pleasant to you is very important. Because you are working with the computer for many hours, you want to have something that works for you, of course. Bash profile is only sourced on login, is it not? I believe yes, but these are the sort of details that I am a bit fuzzy on. But yes, I believe that's the case. The same with dot profile, the same with x profile, dot x profile. Mouse X, whatever, says congrats on the Google FOSS thing. I hope it's going to give at least some financial relief. Thank you. Well, let's see how it goes. We will see. But of course, the best for me, the best outcome is to have coaching, to have classes every day and as many as possible. For me that would be the best because then I will have work to do and have a source of income to basically keep me going. But yeah, we will see. It's something that is outside my control. Of course, I cannot worry about it. It's required Guix, but you should already have the Guix star commands, says Halder Mirza. I think, yeah, I got the package correct, the name of it correct. I don't know what those Guix star commands are about, but I will read the documentation. And okay, so that's all for today, folks. Everybody is saying here, see you next time. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for checking this. I didn't do much in terms of productivity, I think, which is to be expected. This was a spontaneous stream. I made the announcement, I think, 20 minutes before going live. And I was like, okay, let's do this and see how it goes. And I am excited to keep trying Guix, but progress will be slow because I still have to manage the packages in Emacs, I still have to do work, I still have to build the hat, and also you have to consider the physical toil of building the hat. So I am not always at the peak of my energy levels. Normally I'm very energetic, but doing construction work every day, walking back and forth to the place every day, it is not that easy. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention, folks. Closing now.